President Donald Trump has issued an executive order containing Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Anti-sermon protesters immediately took to the streets in major cities around the country, while Democrats in Congress vowed to oppose the sermon, and journalists and movie actors joined together in a rollicking anti-Trump music video to the tune of Uptown Funk. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer burst into tears as he declared that the sermon order was a mean-spirited violation of the separation of church and state. In a statement before reporters, Schumer said, quote, "America is not some sort of theocracy where the president can just come into our homes and force us to bless the pure of heart. Are we going to start having heart purity tests and denying people blessings if they're impure? It's outrageous. True Americans must oppose this sort of religious oppression. That's why I named my daughter Atheista Seculara Disbelieverama." But the rest of Schumer's statement was incomprehensible due to his uncontrollable sobbing. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo told a press conference that the sermon order was an insult to all those religious people who did not believe in love and peace. Governor Cuomo said, quote, "As a New Yorker, I am a Muslim," unquote. He then proceeded to blow himself up, killing 53 people. Protesters took to the streets demanding that the administration rescind its request for Americans to love their enemies. Carrying signs that read, "Hate Trump's love," the demonstrators told reporters that if Trump was for love, they were against it, and anyone who went around loving people would get a punch in the face. In Hollywood, at an award program giving awards for the Best Award program, actors and actresses repeatedly received their awards for Best Awards by making angry political speeches about how oppressed they felt by the Sermon on the Mount. Actor Chad Self, who won the award for Best Presentation of an Award for Best Award at an award ceremony, told the cheering crowd, quote, "As actors, it is our job to transform the known universe by pretending to be police officers and pointing toy guns at one another while shouting, 'Let the girl go.' After all, if a childish narcissist who's been divorced 3 times can't come out of rehab and tell the rest of America how to run the country, who can?" Unquote. President Trump defended the order by reading the text of the Sermon on the Mount aloud to reporters, saying, quote, "Blessed are the pure in heart, except for the losers and haters, and also if the pure in heart give me problems, then I won't bless them so much, believe me. Blessed are the poor in spirit, although personally I prefer the rich in spirit because I built a great spirit worth billions. It's not just me saying it. Many people have said I've got the best spirit. They just can't believe what a great spirit I have. Also, the meek will inherit the earth, though frankly, I wouldn't hold my breath on that one." Unquote. Presidential spokesman Sean Spicer later admitted there were some problems with the sermon rollout. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shaped, ipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray, it makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray, oh, hooray, hurrah.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Yay!
You'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
We don't even have to do the show today. We're just going to go right into the Trump montage. We may just play the Trump montage for 30 minutes in a row. All right, it's Mailbag. Trump had a great day yesterday. He hit a home run, Supreme Court nomination. I heard that even Shapiro was wearing his "Make America Great Again" hat. And we're going to talk about all that. And it's also Mailbag Day from Washington, D.C. We'll answer all your questions. Answers are guaranteed 100% correct. And the answers will change your life, possibly for the better. First, we have to talk about Blue Apron. Why do I even have to do these ads for Blue Apron when they're giving you the food for free? It's like that should be the entire ad, free food. I mean, who would say, nah, I don't want free food? All you got to do is go on blueapron.com/Andrew. You will get the first 3 meals for free. This is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. They bring the ingredients directly to your door, then you cook them up, and it makes a restaurant level meal. I've already signed on for the first 3. I've eaten the first 3 and signed on for the next 3. I'm telling you, they call it great home cooking, but it's really great restaurant cooking in your home because, I mean, my wife is a terrific country cook, but, she's not going to make roasted pork with apple, walnut, and farro salad, cashew chicken stir fry with tango mandarins and jasmine rice, crispy barramundi. I don't even know what crispy barramundi is. Sounds great, but udon noodle soup with meat. This is stuff you would get in a restaurant, but instead it comes to your house. You get the fun of cooking it, all the ingredients. You don't have to measure it out. You get just the number of ingredients you need and the instructions, put it together, and you get a meal for around $10. So you're getting a restaurant level meal for around $10 in your home. The variety changes all the time. They're flexible. You can pick your own menus, and each meal comes with a step-by-step thing. And it's free. It's free food. I mean, what else is there? Yeah, I mean, really, blueapron.com/Andrew. Blueapron.com/Andrew. You get your first 3 meals free with free shipping. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so do not wait. That's blueapron.com/Andrew. It's a better way to cook. All right, what a day, an excellent Trump day, and a classic Trump day, because Trump did this whole, celebrity apprentice thing where he brought his last 2 Supreme Court picks to Washington. He had Thomas Hardiman. Hardiman apparently never really made it to Washington. He heard the news before he came, but he was invited, and he kind of stretched out the suspense. And then finally he came out, he invited Democrats to show up, but they didn't show up. So basically it was a partisan crowd, and announced that he had picked Neil Gorsuch, who, of course, makes those famous winter coats. No, maybe that's another Neil Gorsuch. Maybe that's another Gorsuch. But he announced Neil Gorsuch, and here is Trump making the announcement on his promises. Cut 3, I think.
Months ago, as a candidate, I publicly presented a list of brilliant and accomplished people to the American electorate and pledged to make my choice from among that list. Millions of voters said this was the single most important issue to them when they voted for me for president. I am a man of my word. I will do as I say, something that the American people have been asking for from Washington for a very, very long time.
Now, it was really a great thing. Gorsuch is what they call an originalist. They throw these words around, a textualist, but really what it means is he believes that the Constitution meant he thinks that laws meant what people believed them to mean when they passed them. What was the common understanding of the law? If they find some buried piece of document from James Madison saying, no, I saw it differently, that doesn't matter. It's what laws did the people think they were getting at the time. And he's in the mold of Antonin Scalia in that he's not like a strict originalist, because times do change. So, for instance, if there's a rule against cruel and unusual punishment, the punishments that they had in the 18th century were pretty tough. You could get branded, you could get whipped, you could have your ears cut and stuff like this. And even Scalia would say, well, we're not that originalist. We understand that times change. Clarence Thomas, not so much. Clarence Thomas is like, you don't like the 18th century law, change it. But this guy and Scalia are people who believe in basically the Constitution. He believes in the Constitution, and that is what the Democrats don't like. And that's why it's going to be a big fight. He's been really good on religious liberty. He supported the decision, the Hobby Lobby decision that, I love the way they sell these things. I love the way the left sells these things on TV. They said this allows corporations to deny women health care. Totally untrue. Just a complete distortion of what happened. Hobby Lobby was a small company, about 21,000 employees, owned, what they call a closely owned company. It was basically owned by a family, evangelical Christians. They ran the company according to their belief systems, just like this company, the Daily Wire, is run according to some of the beliefs of our owners. So they had the right to exercise their religious beliefs as the Constitution guarantees. And what they believed was that certain forms of birth control paid for by Obamacare insurance were a kind of abortion. And so they didn't want to support that, and the court supported them. And Gorsuch supported the court in that. Very good on that. He's really good on judicial overreach. And, the court shouldn't make the law. And he objects to this rule, which I've now learned to call the Chevron rule. I didn't know what that was called, but that's the rule that bureaucracies can decide for themselves what their own rules mean. They can interpret their own rules, which essentially gives all these powers not just to unelected bureaucrats, but to the president, because the president is appointing the bureaucrats so he can kind of reinterpret the law out of existence, which was pretty much what Obama was doing. So here is Gorsuch, paying tribute. The first thing he did was pay tribute to Scalia, his predecessor.
The towering judges that have served in this particular seat of the Supreme Court, including Antonin Scalia and Robert Jackson, are much in my mind at this moment. Justice Scalia was a lion of the law. Agree or disagree with him, all of his colleagues on the bench cherish his wisdom and his humor. And like them, I miss him.
Now, this is part of this idea. See, there are two bad arguments that go on that you hear on TV. One is the argument from the right. The argument from the right is this is the Scalia seat, and therefore we get to appoint a guy who's like Scalia. That's ridiculous. The seat belongs to the people. The seat belongs to anybody who can fill it. We are thrilled that he has got a guy that Scalia apparently liked and Scalia apparently endorsed before his death. I'm delighted about that, but it's not the Scalia seat, but it is great that he is in that tradition. Here he is describing his judicial philosophy, which is so important because if these guys don't describe their judicial philosophy out front, you can wind up with a guy like Souter, who was appointed, Reagan appointed him thinking, it was Bush appointed him thinking he was a conservative, turns out to be a flaming liberal. But this guy definitely has an originalist philosophy. Here he is stating it.
Practicing in the trial work trenches of the law, I saw too that when we judges don our robes, it doesn't make us any smarter, but it does serve as a reminder of what's expected of us. Impartiality and independence, collegiality and courage. As this process now moves to the Senate, I look forward to speaking with members from both sides of the aisle, to answering their questions and to hearing their concerns. I consider the United States Senate the greatest deliberative body in the world, and I respect the important role the Constitution affords it in the confirmation of our judges. I respect, too, the fact that in our legal order, it is for Congress and not the courts to write new laws. It is the role of judges to apply, not alter, the work of the people's representatives. A judge who likes every outcome he reaches is very likely a bad judge, stretching for results he prefers rather than those the law demands.
So I love, by the way, Trump, when he makes this announcement, he turns to the audience and says, was that a surprise? Are you surprised? Like it's a TV show, And now he gets up and Trump tries to sell this to the Democrats because, of course, the Democrats are out protesting before the announcement is made. They were standing, there were protests on the steps of the Supreme Court with guys with signs that had, "We oppose blank." And then they filled in the name after the announcement was made. So here's Trump making a bid for bipartisan support. Good luck to him.
I have always felt that after the defense of our nation, the most important decision a president of the United States can make is the appointment of a Supreme Court justice. Depending on their age, a justice can be active for 50 years, and his or her decisions can last a century or more and can often be permanent. I took the task of this nomination very seriously. I have selected an individual whose qualities define, really, and I mean closely define, what we're looking for. Judge Gorsuch has outstanding legal skills, a brilliant mind, tremendous discipline, and has earned bipartisan support. When he was nominated to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, he was confirmed by the Senate unanimously. Also, that's unanimous. Can you believe that nowadays with what's going on? Does that happen anymore? Does it happen? I think it's going to happen, maybe again.
Okay, he thinks it's going to happen maybe again. Not so fast, not so fast. He was confirmed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in 2006 unanimously by a voice vote. People thought, the guy is eminently qualified, Harvard, Oxford, the whole deal. But suddenly Chuck Schumer comes out, and this is Chuck Schumer's statement. To which Donald Trump made the following response.
Guards, Dad. Hey, Mama's boy. I bet you're going to cry. Come on, Mama's boy. Let's see you cry.
Politics is a tough game, I tell you. No, but the real response comes from Jeff Merkley, Senator Jeff Merkley, who has already stated that he thinks there should be a filibuster against the judge. And here he is on Rachel Maddow's show explaining why he feels this way.
Was we must not forget this. This is not a normal consideration. This is a seat that was stolen from the former president, Obama. That's never been done in U.S. history before. To let this become normal just invites a complete partisan polarization of the court from here to eternity. At what point does a majority say in the future, we will not let someone make a nomination 2 years into their 4 years, or 3 years into their 4 years, or their entire 4 years? So I made it clear that I was going to insist on a 60-vote standard, and that I would vote against closing debate. So insisting on 60 votes is the way you start what we refer to as a filibuster. And then the question is, are there going to be enough votes to shut it down? And of course, my hope is that there won't be.
Okay, that's the stolen seat argument from the right. I explained why the left's Scalia seat is bad, and I'll explain why that's a bad argument too. But first I have to say goodbye to the folks on Facebook and YouTube. But come on over to thedailywire.com and you can hear the mailbag, all your questions answered, and the answers guaranteed 100% correct. And you can be in the mailbag if you subscribe for a lousy $8 a month. Come on over.